So, what is reality in regards to psychotherapy and hypnosis? I've been thinking a little bit about this idea of constructed reality. What I mean by constructed reality are the ideas and concepts and meanings that we create, we as humans create about events. Psychologist Stephen Batchelor makes a distinction between fundamental reality, which is the world of our five senses, the material aspects of the world. And then there's constructed reality, which are the ideas that we come up with about that fundamental reality. And there's a whole schools of therapy based in the postmodern constructivism view of how clients create their reality. And our job sometimes is to help them to find new realities or to restructure their existing reality to give them more information or flexibility to change into more empowering ways of viewing the world and going about their lives. But I'm kind of thinking just a little bit more larger picture here about constructed reality of therapy itself and hypnosis. Because if you really look at the research on common factors, which has shown that all the major schools of psychotherapy are pretty valid. They all get results in spite of all the hype of one type of therapy is better than another. They all get good results. So the person who is the traditional Freudian gets good results. The person who is the religious CBT fanatic gets results. The Ericksonian strategic models get results. So all of this is, really fascinating to me because if they all get results, as the common factors research has shown, the theory or the technique isn't the most crucial aspect of the interaction. But then that led me to think, it's like, well, then what else is going on other than, as I've talked about before in other videos, about the therapeutic alliance, expectancy, all those other factors. To me, it's viewing what you're doing as a therapist, hypnotherapist, coach, whatever, through the lens of this idea of you're constructing reality in this moment. So if nothing's better than anything else when it comes to the major applications, a lot of times what we do is we have to go with what our gut says. And if that we feel a certain technical maneuver needs to happen, we need to implement that. So let me just kind of elaborate a little bit. So an event happens. We see an event happens. We experience it with our five senses. And that's at that nonverbal level. It's like Korzybski talked about as a nonverbal level, and then we abstract up to the verbal, and then from the verbal, we create more abstractions and inferences about abstractions, and then we create these bigger meanings. And these bigger meanings I view as the themes which run our lives. So, from a therapeutic perspective, if someone has a certain event or series of events or way they are in the world happen, they create a theme in their life about that, and they operate within that theme. So if the theme is called the woman who can't forgive, then the woman who's in that theme, anything that happens within that theme of that woman's life is tied to the very theme that was created. So it's like the M.C. Escher drawing of the hand that writes itself. These are self-created and then organized and self-perpetuating themes until someone comes along and says, oh no, you got the wrong theme. Or let's move to a different theme. Or let's change enough action inside the theme that the theme doesn't even look or feel the same. Well, therapy is, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, I assert that it's just a series of constructed themes that we, the therapists, try to impose on our clients. And sometimes, yes, we try to impose that. So there is absolutely no scientific evidence that your client's problem is always the result of irrational beliefs or ego, id, superego struggles or unconditional positive regard or always this conditioned responses. I mean, we go on and on and on. Attachment issues. All of those are themes that we as therapists impose upon our clients. And the reason these themes work is because either the client just naturally accepts it, oh, well, that makes sense to me, or we're an authority and they just kind of intellectually submit and go, okay, well, that makes sense. Or sometimes we try to badger them into doing it and they finally relent and say, okay, I'll go along with it. And a lot of times I think we find issues with resistant clients because they're not following the theme that we have. I mean, the theme is always slightly different, but it's the same kind of thing. The problem is the client's theme. And then our theme is the solution. And whether that solution is dream analysis or free association, cognitive restructuring, uh, giving positive regard, our fancy meta model, Milton model, regression, hypnosis, whatever it is, it's the same dynamic. It's just a different thing being placed on the client. Now, why I think this is important is because if we really accept that and really see that, that gives us a lot more flexibility as therapists to, instead of trying to impose a theme, to co-create a theme with the client. So rather than try to struggle against trying to fit them into our theme, why not just see where the interaction goes and where maybe a new theme opens up? Maybe a new theme not even based on the old theme. So sometimes you have to do random things to kind of shift from one theme to another. Now, the tricky part here is because we're trying to shift people out of the themes that they're in, we got to be sure that the theme that we think that they need to go to is really what they need to go into. We try to get into this, as my friend David Prescott said, moral superiority about what clients should be doing and whether they're following along with this or that. So this is why I think it's so important to approach this as a co-creative endeavor. Because if you're sitting with someone and they're telling you about all the latest anxiety things and you just notice something, let's say, about their clothing that you think's interesting and you ask them where they got their clothing, that could lead to a conversation which may lead outside their theme into a new theme. That new theme could be something more centered around where their strengths and resources are. And then maybe there's a new theme that could be applied. So rather than maybe just trying to destroy their theme and impose our theme, and then, God forbid, sit and think we're so morally superior that we've done all the research when we have found that, like I said, most all of it works. So not everybody needs to be regressed back to their childhood and get all the emotions out, and not everyone needs to be directed to do all these strange rituals that sometimes I talk about. But sometimes they may need their beliefs, playfully teased out. But again, are we really co-creating? Or are we constructing a reality that's only our reality instead of creating this reality with the client? Because if there is no big, true reality with a capital R within the therapeutic interaction, it can cause a little anxiety for therapists who want to be sure all the time, to think that they've got the right technique and the right theory and the right ideas. And oh my God, I didn't take that last training on the internal family systems, and someone else did, and they got results. All I've got is this DBT, which usually works, but so it gets into this undermining confidence. So I just think we need to have the ability to realize that it's all constructed, and somehow in this construction of perceived reality, there's a lot of healing that can be found there. But it requires us to just let go of our assumptions about what's really true, and more what's true for the client and what's true to be effective, and to kind of welcome in the client's truth maybe a little bit more. So hopefully this made sense. I always wonder when I make these videos if if it resonates or not. If you have any comments, please leave them. Please subscribe if you find some value in this. Share this with others. So I wish you the best of your luck in the fields of psychotherapy and hypnosis, because I think we're all doing the best we can to do great work. We just might need to not be so rigid in how we're working. Have a great day.